shaveDallas is an event that I created to give back to the whole fight against cancer. My dad died 2 years ago because of cancer. A friend of mine died of cancer in '09. Growing up, I had family members dying of cancer. Until you really have something like close to you and that really impacts you, you don't really ever really know what that really is. And my dad was that for me. Meeting to people through Twitter and Facebook and South by Southwest. There was another individual who came down with cancer, and his name is Drew Owenloff, and he started this whole campaign on Twitter. He would start this hashtag. Well, every time people would hashtag I blame Drew's cancer for something, certain sponsors would donate a quarter or 50 cents to the Livestrong Foundation. And eventually he also made a thing with Drew Carey, where Drew Carey said, you can get 1 million people to tweet something, I'll buy your Twitter account for $1 million. Well, this whole thing with the battle against cancer got him a panel at South by Southwest this past year. It was called Tweeting Through Chemo. And sitting through the panel, I didn't realize what people go through when they're getting chemo. I didn't realize that, what the pain, what the different procedures were. So I decided I wanted to do something to give back to the whole cancer. So I decided, I wanted to shave my head. This is all back to Drew again, because he made this campaign at South by Southwest. He said, if you find me and make a small donation to the Livestrong Foundation, I'll shave your head. Well, he wasn't able to do that, but people that went down with me to South by Southwest actually wanted to videotape me and take my pictures of me getting my head shaved bald. Well, since that didn't happen, they basically told me that they wanted me to do something else, like and start some kind of organization or like do some kind of event. So after coming back, I talked with people and decided I want to do some kind of big event where, where we have raffle prizes and bands playing. And I said, screw it, I'm gonna set a date for it. In April, I said I'm gonna do it for July 31st. It's gonna be called shaveDallas, and I brought a couple people on, and the 3 people I have working with me are Adam Latia, Shelby Cunningham, and Amelia Clark. They've been my backbone, and they're my core team. And we did everything together. We got sponsors through the use of one of my students who gave me the location of her work. We had an awesome night. We were looking to raise $2 grand for the American Cancer Society, and we made past that. And so now we're eventually looking to possibly make it into nonprofit, but we've already scheduling more events down the road.
How was the turnout?
I would say the turnout was really good. Through the use of social media and friends and organizations, I'd say we probably had about 100, 150 people throughout the whole night. This is just a first-time event. Sometimes the first-time events don't usually have that many people, but I wasn't sure how many people we were going to have coming in to shave their heads. And as I had to put out to a lot of people that were scared about it, I was saying, you don't have to shave your head to come. That's the main goal, is to get people to raise money to get their heads shaved. But you don't have to shave your head. You can still come, buy raffle tickets, enjoy, make a donation. The whole premise is to basically let people know awareness of people who are going through chemo and who have gone through chemo, because even just going through chemo can be as hard as dealing with the disease itself, no matter what kind of cancer you have. And I want to create community-based events where people can come out and meet other people who either have the same diseases or just to have fun and make new friends and kind of forget about what the pain they're going through for one night. No, and that's the whole thing. Everyone asks me, are you just doing it for one organization? And I'm like, no, because there's over 25 different types of cancer. And you just can't fight for one organization. I understand the different organizations and charities that fight for one type, but overall, there's this whole big picture, and it's got to be proportioned out towards the whole thing. Nobody knows how exactly cancer comes about. Granted, with lung cancer, if you're smoking a lot, eventually you're gonna get stuff like that. But it's just there's so many different types of cancer. Nobody knows how prostate cancer starts. Nobody knows how colon cancer starts. It just seems like more and more people are getting cancer, and so there needs to be more research to figure out. Social media, if we were asking how do we use social media, it's like we have a web page, but we use Twitter, and we have a Facebook event page. We also have a fan page now. We have a Twitter account, which people, when we make posts on our site, people can retweet the sucker, and they can like our event page. We'll probably look into some other types of social media. Like, as much as I had to say use it, MySpace, it still gets a network out there. Even our typical use of our web page is through a WordPress blog, so it's using that too. If you're doing an event, if you're to tell your friends, tell them to tell your friends, you make flyers, and maybe a news post on the radio, you get so many people. But even through the use of the internet, you're able to reach people even outside your normal area of what you might be able to reach, and so that's how I think we were able to bring a lot of people in.
Yes, that's why it was so big on the first event. Really,
I think it was part of it, at least 35% part of it, I had to say. A lot of it was also because I'm a social butterfly and I know everybody in Dallas, so and it was because of that using Twitter and Facebook, people were able to retweet it to their friends, and they were able to pimp it out. And so the core team that helped me put together was the main reason. But if it wasn't for the fact that I know so many different people that were willing to give and give sponsor and help us out, I really don't think the event would have been as great as it was.
As far as the inception, how the hell did you start?
I'm choosing a date. Then I get people say, hey, would you be willing to help me? And then it's me going out asking, trying to find bands online. Would you guys be willing to play this for free since we have no money to really give you the first time? And that's what a lot of charities have. You know, sometimes sometimes they can pay them, but a lot of times it's also a free use because it's a goodwill thing to give back to. I was lucky enough to have, like I said, one of my former students. Her name's Catherine Walker. She was able to get me her production house downtown, and thanks to her and her boss, we had a really awesome spot to actually have the first event at. We had Amelia. Her uncle is a distributor through alcohol and foods, and he was able to get us some stuff. I mean, some stuff came out of pocket. We had to buy the alcohol. I had to spend a lot of money on alcohol, but you want to do that because people are coming out to your events. So you want to give back to them too.
How much did you end up spending on?
About $250.
Versus like $2,000 for cancer.
Yeah. In the long run, you really got to spend money to make money. Whether or not it's nonprofit or an actual business, it's like you're not going to be making the money if you don't. I mean, we could have said, hey, will you guys come to our table and shave your head? No, it's I mean, I think one of the greatest things was Adams went to a stylist, and we had 3 stylists actually come out, bring all their stuff to actually shave their heads, and they were so in love with the whole thing. Is they said next time we do the next big event, they want to bring the whole staff out and actually be able to do the shaved heads. So, and both bands that came out, they loved it. They said, hey, let us know if you ever want us to come out again. It was a great way for people to see great art. We also had an art auction, which didn't kind of go off as well, but it wasn't because a fault of anybody. It was just we had so much going on, and some of the future events we might do will be another art auction. If there was any slight failure in our thing, which I don't think there was, but it just realized that like when you do certain events, you kind of got to focus on what your kind of topic for that event is. You don't want to have too much. I think with the raffle and the food and the drinks, we had people conversing, and the shaving the head and the bands. And a friend of mine was also doing palm readings. I think with that, which is a nice, fun event, kind of just to sit down and just meet new people, talk with people that you already know. Right now, we're in an incubation period where we're going to try to work to make it bigger and better. Maybe somewhere down the road eventually become official nonprofit, but we realize that like we're not at that stage. We kind of got to grow and build our status, and we'll continue doing stuff. But we're going to probably have 2 big events per year and a couple of small ones, different charities. So,
do you have anything in conceptual stages as far as future events go?
Not much that we can really get into right now, but I think one of the future events we're looking to do is possibly a trivia night. That'd be a smaller event, but I think it would be kind of cool to if we could just get teams out. We'll get teams together and we'll put a small fee for the teams in, and then eventually the winner of the team will get a small fraction of the winnings, and the rest will go for the charity we're doing for that night. And I can tell you right now, we'll eventually have ideas that we want on the site. If anybody wants to know more about shaveDallas, just go to shaveDallas.org. We'll keep posting about different charities that we think people should know about, and events going on, and things we're going to be doing, and just causes we're going to be. That's our main hub where people can find out about us.